Welcome to another episode of Down the Shore Podcast. I'm Kevin. I'm here with Zach and Nick. Today we're joined by Maddie McCracken, North Wildwood local.
Hello, thanks for having me.
Member of a basketball family, pretty well-known basketball family on the island, and founder of the Step Back Foundation.
Yes, thanks for having me. I'm excited.
Welcome, yeah.
I'm excited
Welcome
to be here.
again. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So how's it been? I know you guys have had a busy spring.
Yeah, we're just rolling. I can't believe it's already been a couple months since I last talked to you guys. But yeah, we are pretty busy. We're getting ready for a couple events. We have an Easter egg hunt coming up and then a golf outing. So we're kind of just getting ready for that and going into schools a little bit too.
That's good. Yeah, I've seen you guys.
You were in Margaret Mace today, right?
I actually wasn't in there today, but we're doing a T-shirt design contest with them.
Oh,
that's
so
cool.
they're because May is Mental Health Awareness Month, so they're helping me create different designs for that month, and we've just been like working a lot together recently. So they sent me a picture of some of the shirts because they also have like a school store going on right now.
Oh, cool.
And instead of the kids like paying money, it's kind of like a reward system. So I guess I'm sure there's a bunch of different things, but like attendance, just being, I guess, kind.
Yeah.
There's different things that they'll get, like Mace cash, I think they're calling it, like Mace dollars. And then I have some of my gears in the school, so they're able to like buy it. So that was a picture they sent me today. But yeah.
I think that's a good system. They do that Cougar Cash at Crest
Is that what they do?
my kids.
Yeah.
It's similar thing.
Yeah.
I think it works. They always get excited about it.
Yeah, it's a cool concept.
So for those who aren't familiar with the Step Back Foundation, what is it and how did it start?
So I started the Step Back Foundation when I was a senior in high school. So we're coming up on 6 years now.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was in 2019 to provide athletic equipment to kids in the area who couldn't necessarily afford it. So if a kid couldn't afford like basketball shoes, cleats, running shoes, something like that, we could raise money to provide it for them so they wouldn't miss out on the opportunity to play. But over time, it's changed a lot. It's evolved. We do a ton of, like I said, a lot with mental health stuff, but not in like I feel like mental health can have like a negative connotation sometimes, but more in like a way of like just trying to promote like finding joy in each day. And I think that's why we're doing what we're doing with Margaret Mace right now, is because I just feel like it can be tough, especially in like a school setting. Like I feel like middle school, high school, no matter what age, elementary school, it can be tough to like find yourself, and you're constantly just growing and changing, and friendships are difficult sometimes. So if I can just bring that into the schools too, as of lately, I like love being able to like try to promote like just being who you are and like being kind to one another, because mental health has so many different aspects to it. But I feel like I just want to make sure like kids know like you got this, and that's a big part of it for us too. But besides that, we work with counselors a lot. I go in like if a kid might need something. Someone, either the counselor or one of the ADs, something like that, teachers, if they're close with me, they'll reach out and say like, hey, you mind grabbing this? If, helping out, we could use a couple of these, or one kid may need this. And I kind of like that dynamic too, because it feels like it's more personalized, because sometimes like, during Christmas when we do donations, I feel like they're not as specific. And that's why I like doing stuff for families, because you can shop, like, I guess personally for people. But I love when like someone asks for something specific, because I know it's going to a kid that actually needs that or actually wants that. So
That's awesome.
Yeah, I think mental health awareness is huge. It's something that you said it has a negative connotation sometimes. I think that's starting to kind of be knocked down and knocked out.
Yeah.
Everybody struggles at some point. I see that you're in the schools all the time, which is great, especially for those like young teen girls that like kind of, they see you around all the time. They see, you have a presence, and I think it's good for them to be able to kind of look up to you, have a personalized conversation with them, be like, look, everybody goes through this.
Oh yeah, and I think like you just said, like that I feel like is who I really I feel like I speak to the most, and where I get the most feedback from is definitely, I would say, probably like the middle school girl area. And I like, as much as it might impact them, or I don't know how much it impacts them, I think that they impact me the most, because like I love talking to them. I mean, like anything, like just any sort of interaction I have with them, I feel like it moves me a lot more than it probably does for them, because I mean, like you just said, like it can be tough to be in like that age group, and especially just because, I mean, I don't know what it's like to be a middle school boy. I've never was one, but like as a girl, I know like it can be tough. And I also had I've always been very blessed and I've had a great life and nothing to complain about. And I still feel like I was someone who's constantly had like struggles still to this day. Like I still get caught up in things where I'm just like, I feel like I'm in a funk. I mean, this week I feel like I've had just random things that I'm like, I need to drag myself out of like the mud almost. And I think that a lot of it has to do with like, like the weather probably gives you like a funk and whatever. But I think there's just so many different little aspects of that go into, trying to find like, I wouldn't even say a balanced lifestyle because I really don't think balance is like really the word, but just trying to, like if something goes wrong, you still have so many things that are going right for you. And that's why I try to set myself up for a lifestyle that if one thing isn't going right, I know I have this and this that can, help me feel better.
Just whether roll it's with the punches and keep it moving. Yeah, exactly.
It's that mindset, right, where you like, it is tough in the wintertime here. It's dark and it's cold and, things are starting to come back to life now. People, there's definitely an effect with the weather and sunlight for sure. But I think it's important for you to, again, play a positive role in the community because you have established yourself as somebody that teens look up to, and I think it's important for the people in this area to kind of have somebody like that.
It's good for kids to have a positive role model. Yeah. Like, you never know what their home life is like. For some kids, school is the escape and everything, and to have somebody come in there and reinforce that, hey, you can be whatever you want. You can do whatever you want, and just show them love and show them positivity. It can make all the difference in the world that, a lot of times I feel like teachers or, people like nobody realizes. I love what you just said, that school can be an escape, because I was someone who, again, had an awesome home life and I never had to worry about anything like that. But I remember just having horrible anxiety in the middle of the night before school, and I couldn't wait until the morning till I could go back to school because it was always a safe place for me. So for me, I'm like, how could you just make the school experience even better? And that's what I want. I want kids to be able to go to school and feel great. And obviously, I'm not a teacher. I'm not in there every single day. But if I think that schools you're so right. It should be an escape for kids, and it should be a positive place where they learn so many life lessons and form relationships with people. And I love that I feel confident enough to go back into the schools that I've either went to, or even if I didn't go there, I love being able to form relationships with different schools, because that's what it's all about. And I love that, especially where we are, all the different schools are so good to their alumni, and alumni is great to them too, and people are proud of where they went. And I think I don't know if that's really other places, but I feel like it is so unique down here to where no matter if you went to Wildwood High, Wildwood Catholic, middle, lower, you're proud to be from where that school is, because they're so proud of you, and they're going to support you for years and years down the line. So I think that's awesome. And then also I think another reason too, my mom is a teacher and my dad coaches basketball at Wildwood. So kind of like you said, I feel like I just always watched or heard of different stories from kids. My mom loves her job, and she still to this day, I get, I'm not even arguments or anything, but she'll come home with a really sad story about a situation, because she loves her kids that much, and she takes it home with her. And then I'm someone who I get so emotional about it, because I'm like, why would you even tell me that? And then I'm like, all right, well, obviously I want to help, but even besides that, I feel like sometimes, it's not really my place or anything. But I think that helped me kind of realize, wow, you really don't know what's going on in everyone's life. And I think, with my dad, too, I've always, loved everyone that he coached. And, I remember, watching certain kids when he was coaching when I was younger, before I was in high school, or even before I was in middle school, and, wanting to be, just like them. But I remember, hearing of, stories, not that my dad ever really told us what was going on, but we would pick up on things, in people's, lives. And I remember, me and my sister, we just, couldn't believe it. But then we were like, wow, we just, love whoever this person was. And, then we realized down the line, or maybe we overheard a conversation of my mom and dad talking of a kid going through something, and it's you would have never known. And it just sucks, but it also is wow, I want to be able to make an impact in tiny ways. And you don't know how much of an impact it actually really does, how far it actually goes, but you can just hope that doing little things of kindness constantly, and trying, like you said, trying to establish yourself as someone that people can go to, and
Like that's what it's all about. Like it's just doing little things, because I mean big gestures are great too, but I feel like, and like big donations are great too, but I want to focus on more moving forward on like how can like everyday little things make more of an impact, because I feel like those are things that mean the most to people. So
yeah, that is, it's impactful, right? Anything you do is probably going to impact somebody.
It's like
one
the
way or
butterfly
other.
effect,
Right?
essentially.
Yeah, and passing it forward, paying it forward. But you know that we started here where you were talking about, you know, you created a foundation where you were going to just help people if they needed something for basketball, right? And we've seen over the years that's kind of totally evolved into something now where you're doing a million things. And I can see, you know, you told a story, your mom's telling you about something that was going on, and you're like, wheels are spinning. Like, all right,
yeah.
how can I fix that?
Yeah.
What is something that we go, okay, if this person's dealing with that,
I'm like
sure
getting
there's
mad at her.
others.
I'm like, why would you tell me that?
So now do this. This is what we're going to do. We're going to bring this into the school. It's phenomenal. But tell us a little bit about like that, like the evolution of that, and kind of like how you've had the help along the way to kind of grow that, because it's one thing to like raise a couple dollars and you can go buy individual items for individual people.
Yeah, I mean,
It's another thing to like raise dollars where you're like, I'm going to outfit the whole basketball team with jackets or backpacks or
Right.
sweatshirts. Like that's a monumental movement where you need the financial support to be able to do that.
And you
Yeah.
Kinda like,
sustained
how did that happen?
for a good amount of time now.
Yeah.
And it's just seems like it's continuing to grow.
well, first, like the financial aspect of it is, I would say, like, I've learned so much about like a business side of it, as much as like this is a nonprofit and people don't really, like, there's obviously differences between that and like an LLC. Nonprofits are very much of a business, and it has taught me so much about money and saving money and trying to use money wisely, and like, you know, not going and blowing money on something random. Like I have to be thoughtful for the things that we buy. And even like I now like take into account like for example, someone asked for like bike helmets recently, like 25 bike helmets to go to for a school. Well, I'm trying to be like, all right, because you never know when requests are going to come in either. And you could get a bunch of requests one day, and then you could go a little bit of time or whatever amount of time where you don't really get that many things that people are asking for. And then you get hit with a lot. So you have to be kind of conscious of like what's going on. And that's how I feel like I've kind of tried to manage with that aspect, like not trying to, you know, jump the gun and go buy a bunch of different things. And I try to talk to different people about it now. Like, I have like a group of people who I probably will, what do you think? Like, how many think I should get of this? Or how many, or what do you think? Where do you think I should get this from? Or do you think I could find a deal here? Like, just stuff like that. I feel like has helped in the long term in terms of, you know, financial stability and like trying to save enough money. But in terms of evolving overall, I mean, I just say, and I've thought this for a long time, like the more that I grow and I change and like evolve, is Setback's right there along with me. And I feel like it kind of is a representation of my life. And like, I was obviously really young when I started it. But I feel like I've been like 70 different people like in the midst of like that time period. I think also because I was so young, so you're bound to grow a lot and like evolve as a person over, you know, those crucial years, I feel like. But I mean, I feel like I was always like a very like happy person, and I feel like I've always brought a good positive, you know, I've always had like a good positive energy with me. But I would say that I've like definitely had my struggles, and I think that's why I've made such a, you know, I've really tried to focus and emphasize on mental health, is because like I've had some like really tough times like throughout those years, and like you probably wouldn't know because I am such a like I feel like I am a pretty upbeat person, but I mean I have my days, I have my spurts of like
Everybody's
things,
got them,
And you're allowed to.
and I
Yeah.
That's
I
part of
mean,
life.
like,
It goes back to you never know what goes on at home. Or
Right.
I mean, like, it's crazy because it's also could be in the matter of like a month difference of like me feeling how I feel. Like it could be weeks, it could literally be a couple days of like just little things that I know that I have to shift and change to, you know, make myself feel better. But I do think that because I have found like at the end of the day, I just want people to be happy. And I think before I was like, oh, sports. And, you know, I played basketball. So obviously, like you said, I'm a part of a basketball family. So I thought that was so important. But then like when basketball wasn't as important to me anymore, I'm like, wait, so this isn't everybody's life. So how could you how could you benefit the most amount of people possible? And I think I realized like, wow, like instead of basketball was so good to you and the community has been so good to you through basketball, but how can like you could be supportive of the community in general, because it's not just basketball town. As much as we are a basketball town and a basketball community, and throughout the whole county, like there's so many more
to it
things to it, and like I said, I just think that like I've grown and I've evolved, and I've realized I've seen things in a different light and a different perspective, and just from me changing. And I think also as my sisters have gotten older, same thing, and I just think like, you're just a different person, and
you grow.
I just feel like
it's just natural growth, which is good because you don't want to be the same person you were in 2019 when you started this.
Right? No, not at all.
I mean, it's everything. As you're growing and you're in business, an entrepreneur, essentially, you're growing, you're learning, you're going to have the growing pains, but like we talk about this a lot, there's no destination in this.
Right.
And if you do hit it, it's more like goal-based, I think.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I want to be able to donate twice as many uniforms next year or whatever. And then if you do that, it's like, all right, I figured that out. So how can I do 3 times the next year?
Yeah.
And
That's
which
so
is good.
true.
That's just
That's
continued
so true.
growth and
It's
expansion.
not-
And if you're in 5 schools, how can you get into 7? You're going to have to raise money and figure it out and do all these other things. But
I think
it's
that's
the journey in it all.
I think that just like what you just said right there is everything you just said about there's not like a destination. I feel like that plays a part. Like that is so relatable in like every aspect of life, because like your health in general, like I try to promote too, like just taking care of yourself, because like you said, there's not an end goal. Like, people like, there's always like a quick fix to things, and it's like there's no quick fix. Like you have to make changes and lifestyle changes and like create these habits for yourself to become the ultimate, like to become a version of yourself that you really truly love and build that confidence. And that's why I want to go into schools and like talk to those younger girls, because it isn't like I'm a girl, so I know how tough it can be, especially now that there's social media and stuff. And I think that's one thing that maybe you guys might not really, because you're not a younger girl like in that aspect. And like I've just seen with like I know you definitely have like social media and stuff, but I think that it is so difficult right now to be a middle school girl or a high school girl who's constantly like on their phone looking like, and I'm guilty too. I'm over here. I see all the same things, and I mean, unfortunately, I've never been someone that I felt like I've ever compared myself to other people. But I think that that's almost like inevitable when you are a girl who's like you get a phone and an Instagram at like however old, and you're constantly just seeing other people and comparing yourself to other people, and it's like, no, the end goal isn't to look like this person or to look like this or to be like this. You want to create a version of yourself that you're really proud of that doesn't go away. Like, I don't want to I want to create a lifestyle that I know is sustainable and that makes me happy. And, whether that's like choosing workouts that I know that I'll be able to do for a long time because I really enjoy them and I really love them, or it's finding eating habits that really work for me. And like, you might have, like, what does that have anything to do with your nonprofit? But that's what I think why I feel like Step Back has evolved and changed too, because how I treat Step Back is like how I treat like life. It's like what I want to, like, it's like all the things that I think I want to promote with Step Back, having a healthy lifestyle. And like, that's, I think, like I said, like that's how it kind of relates to like the mental health aspect is like,
it's good. It's
to
the totality
me,
of your health. It's not just, what you think between your
because
ears.
you build that confidence
Your
when
health
you take care of
and,
yourself.
Mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, and that's cool. It's like, seems like it's kind of evolving. Maybe it's there into like almost like a lifestyle brand, which is good because I think that's everything that can be promoted in like the totality of it. Like my daughter's 8 and Kevin's got 2 daughters. He can probably live through the growing and the social media.
I was going to say I did not grow up with social media, and I'm so thankful for that. I'm probably
Raised 2
closer to your
daughters
parents'
through it.
age, but I have 2 daughters.
Yeah,
One's
right.
a freshman in college, one's a senior in high school, and they grew up with it. And we were pretty good about holding them off long enough to like maybe the age caught up, but still like their friends had it. And, I saw the times where like somebody said something about somebody or somebody didn't like a post, and it like
ruins their day.
Meltdown. It's like, wow, this is so like this is so important, but yet in the big picture, it's so minuscule
not.
and like it's
But-
a moment, you know.
But when you are
a highlight
them, though,
reel.
it is
It's
that
everything.
important because it is like a deeper meaning to them. Like it truly is though, because like it's just hard to like explain like how.
There's no turnoff in the world now. Like it was the same way like when we were in school. You know, you could walk by a girl and it was like, oh, Nick, Maddie didn't even say hi to me today. But when you go home, it's the social media is with you now.
Right.
You can look at it up until the second you close your eyes at night. Whereas
Or you
20
wake up
years
at
ago,
2 a.m..
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You know, whereas 20 years ago it was like, all right, you're home and you're kind of detached from it, and it's like, oh, I can't wait to go back to see if she says hi to me when we walk past, you know, tomorrow. But now it's just like, it's just constantly in front of you, which is good. I mean, we're as connected as you can be, probably 24/7 in the real estate world.
But it's good if you're using it in a positive way.
It is.
Right?
That's
It's
kind of what I was going to
promote the
segue into.
foundation. We can promote business. We can promote one another. We can
And you can connect with-
empower one another, like you just said,
As
connectivity.
many people, you know what I mean? You can reach us a broader audience. Whereas, you know, before it was, okay, you could do print media or, you know, maybe billboards or whatever. So people that were here in the Wildwoods maybe would see it. Now, I mean, you're on social media, you don't know who you're reaching, and you're, you know.
Yeah, I think you've proven that like you've been able to utilize social media as well to reach people, because in order to do what you're doing, you need the support of the community,
Right.
And your events have community support, and I'm sure that's growing as time goes on. And I think it's kind of cool, like where your events could possibly become like one of those things that's like it's this time of the year, or it's, you know, the third week of whatever month. We're going to have this annual event every year, and more people want to go to it. And at those kind of events, that's where there's even more conversation and connection
connecting,
and talking and
networking,
brainstorming
things like
and
that,
network,
you know.
all of it.
And
All of
you
it.
know what I really like? I think that you guys do a good job on social media, being like very relatable. I know you post like a lot of stuff of like daily life, and you know, like it seems like you have your sisters and your friends and like your group involved in everything, which I think people were like, oh, okay, this isn't just like a business that raises money to give back. Like this is a person
I
with
want people
part
to
of the
see
town
like that side
you know,
of
somebody I walk past, you know, on the seawall, or like it's a normal person from down here.
Normal person. And here's what I do daily.
Exactly.
Right?
I feel like and it's so funny when you're like saying about this. Social media is like you said, there's so many great things, there's so many tough things, and I think that is such a positive. Like I'm able to show like my personality on there, and like show the people who really like help and support and back and help it, you know, run itself. And like I think that there's so many great aspects to it. But even to go along with like your daughters and such, like I just had a conversation with my older sister a couple days ago, like just saying like sometimes I get so like I get wrapped up. I'm like, am I being like annoying? Am I sharing things like too much? Like, are people like
It's hard to be vulnerable like that.
Yeah.
Like you start to get in your own head.
It's tough. Like, and like I think also with your job, because you said you know you guys are basically on the clock like 24/7. It's like I feel like being like someone who runs your own business, you are kind of putting yourself out there to people's opinions and like to, you know, am I like you're kind of hard on yourself like. I should be doing something all day long for a setback, and I almost have like guilt when I'm like when I'm not doing things, and even like with weekends, I'm like, how could I incorporate setback the most? But also at the same time,
you got to take some time for yourself.
I love it though, so I want to be doing that, but I feel like sometimes it's a line.
Yeah.
Of,
We talk
like,
about this every day.
Yeah.
It's
the balance.
tough, but I think social media helps me. It makes me more.
It can be an outlet too.
Yeah.
You know,
It's
in a
great.
way.
So there's things that I love about it. It's great that I'm able to share things. I'm able to advertise. I'm able to, you know, kind of put a brand out there for Setback. But then at the same time, I absolutely do. I can relate to your daughters because I'm not that much older than them. That I'm like, wait, it is like tough to like. It's tough to like put yourself out there and to like, you know, like. People think I'm being annoying, like, or am I being too much? Am I asking for too many donations? Which I also try to be careful about that too. I don't press people. I don't text people. I don't call people for anything. You know, I send out my letter for our annual event at Mudhen, and I send like a letter one time a year, and I don't try to be like pressing with that matter. But I do feel like am I like being too much? Like, are people like, all right, back off, we don't want to see this anymore?
No,
but I
also
good. I'm like, I need people to see what we're doing to
That's the important
advertise.
piece, right? There's transparency. You're asking people for money. People are giving you money. People are attending your events. People are happy to help support, right? When we say give money, they're actually supporting a cause. And I think that, the transparency is, hey, this is where your dollars are going. Look at the 15 things we've done in the last couple months here. Like that's what you're supporting. You're supporting this kind of outreach, not just me and like my goals. You're supporting all this outreach,
right?
And that's important. So post away.
And honestly, like
it's not annoying.
Big advocate of
at all.
If somebody thinks you're annoying, they don't have to look at your page.
They can unfollow you.
If
Who
you
cares?
don't like my stuff, go to the next thing.
And that's what my sister said. Like, she is like my voice of reason when it comes to that. She says exactly that. She's like, well, then who cares? They're not going to be the people who are showing up anyway.
Exactly.
And it's like,
sometimes you just want the reassurance. Like, all right, you're right. I'm not crazy.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I have to like, I go in like spirals all the time, and it's funny because I can like portray myself as one of the most confident people in the world, because sometimes I truly am like, wow, like I feel so confident. And there's days where I'm like, and I think that's part of why I can also relate to these girls, and that's why I do want to be in the schools talking to them, is like, I have days where I'm like, I do not feel like I'm confident, and I feel like I have so many things to learn, and I'm like, I feel like I'm behind, and I feel like I could be doing a lot better. So I feel like I'm in like a weird stage right now where I feel really mature, and I feel like I have to step back in a place where I'm happy about it and I'm proud of what it is, and I'm excited for each day, because I truly am. I couldn't complain about anything with Step Back. I love it, and it's my passion. I'm proud. I'm happy to have found it at such a young age. But I do have my days too where I'm like, what are you doing, girlfriend? Get it together. Like, you need
that's
to.
everybody.
It's tough. It can be tough.
When you keep raising the bar, like if people say, "Oh, you're doing such a great job," and it's hard to say like, "Oh, you know what? You're right. I am," because there's always so much growth associated with that. Like even stuff that we do, like, okay, cool, you're doing well in real estate, but it's like, okay, yeah, maybe from the outside or whatever, but you want to do better. And it's like, okay, you have all this whole list of other things you want to accomplish. So it's cool that you've done this, but like, it's good to have the mindset to keep growing, I think.
Yeah, it's good to have the mindset that you don't know it all. Because growth comes from
and
all
once
those
you realize
little
that,
things that you do, the
that's a
struggles,
game
you made
changer
mistake,
too.
It's all part of it. And like not knowing it all is an attractive characteristic for people. People come off of as know-it-alls, right? You're like,
stay away from that person.
Stay away from that person.
And you get to collaborate with people who can help you grow, and see, I think it seems like you and the Step Back, it's all very authentic, which I think comes off very, very well to people. That's in the world, like this whole social media world we all live in. There's so much, it's just everything's fake and everything's regurgitated. And if you can come off as authentic and like, hey, this is me, whether you like me or don't like me or think this is cringy or whatever, and not even specifically, just like anything, even us, anything that we do. If you can come off as authentic, I think that really shines through, and people relate a lot more. Like, hey, this is just a person. They have their days. They have this. They have kids. They have a wife. They have a boyfriend or girlfriend. Like whatever. I can relate to that. Yeah, it's.
I think too, like what you just said. Like, I feel like, as like, in like terms of like the relatability part, or just like what I want it to be. Like, I remember people like, when I first started, like asking me like, oh, well, what's like, because you have like your mission statement. Every nonprofit has like their mission statement, but people are like, you gotta kind of like narrow that down, or like you should like make it like towards like one thing. And that's why I originally like had it for athletics, and like it was kind of a basketball thing. But then like I remember like getting like worked out with people that I'm like, this like community is unique. Like I want it to be unique to that, and I also want it to, like I said, like kind of like embody who I am and who my family is, and the values that I have. And like,
exactly.
And I like you said, like I want it to be authentic. We have some really amazing organizations in this area, and even the Satnick Foundation itself. Like there's some incredible people doing really great stuff around here, but I don't want to be them, and they don't want to be me. You know what I mean? I think that's the beauty in
and there's
it.
enough room for everybody.
I want like this to be. I want Step Back to be a place where people feel comfortable reaching out. People feel like we have their back, and like they can feel comfortable enough to, request things. And, like, obviously we can't do everything, and you know what I mean? But I want it to be something that's very unique. And with every event that we do, I want it to be aligned with, like, our values. And I also, because I don't want to be too much to people where I feel like I'm asking the same group of people to be involved and stuff, I purposely have created events where they aren't the same, person. There aren't the same people who are attending it and being a part of it. Like, our Easter egg hunt is not going to be the same as the people in our golf outing, unless they're, like, a dad who's in it. But, like, you know what I mean? Like, they're different. Our 3-on-3 tournament has, like, different stuff. But, and then, like, every event is kind of tailored towards a different person, if that makes sense. And I purposely did that because I want people to know that I appreciate them more than they know for their support. Like, it means the world to me when people, are wearing our stuff, or they show up to our events, or I hear someone, asking me, like, what's going on, like, what, if they're coming to our, whatever. I appreciate that. I really do. And I always want people to know that I am so grateful for the support that we've gotten, because it did start out as something small. And I remember the first event, our first event ever was a 3-on-3 tournament. And a bunch of my dad's, like, old players played in it. And they're all, like, some of them had kids, were married at this point. And, like, to me, like, that was people that I, like, admired growing up. I was obsessed with them. I was, like, a little girl, and I would go to my dad's practices. Like, some of them I was, like, dribbling a basketball around when I was, like, a toddler, like, that played for him. And it was so special to me, because I'm like, this is what it's all about. Like, these kids loved, not that they loved me, they loved my dad, and they wanted to support him, and to him, that meant the world to my dad. I actually sent it to him the other day. I was like, I love this picture. It was a bunch of his old players in Step Back shirts with him, and that's the kind of stuff that I love. I want to bring people together.
It's far-reaching.
Yeah. Yeah, so.
Full circle.
Speaking of events, so I know you guys have a couple things.
Yeah.
Fill us in on what's coming up.
So we have an Easter egg hunt coming up on Saturday, April 19th, and that's 9 to 1 at Allen Park in North Wildwood. So it's kids up to 10, and we have different time slots available. So it's every half hour it starts, just to alleviate, like, the huge line. Like, I want parents to come and feel like they don't have a lot to do. Like, they can just kind of show up around the time so that they can.
Kevin actually volunteered before you got here. He said he'll dress up as the Easter Bunny if he needs some money.
I did that during COVID. This time 5 years ago.
Wait, really?
For Easter, I drove around town in the Easter Bunny costume.
No
I'll
way.
share the pictures with you. Yeah.
That's so funny.
Maybe we can run it back 5-year anniversary.
People's houses, I knew them. I wasn't just randomly driving around town, but I was in the back of my pickup truck. Carly was driving, and I was driving around.
This would be the perfect time to cut the picture of Kevin.
People were still in
Easter
the house
Bunny
at that
outfit.
time, right? Like, so they were going outside. And
That's so funny.
we're definitely
Easter
gonna have to clip that picture in
That's
here.
so funny.
Yeah.
That's so
And then you're doing the golf outing as well.
Yes, May 9th. That's a Friday. It's like, it's tough to get, like, a Saturday for outings, like, in the springtime, I guess,
Is it
in
at
summer.
Avalon?
Avalon.
Okay.
So this is our
you're still
first
looking for
golf
sponsors for that, or you guys booked up, or?
Oh, yeah, we're still taking, like, this is actually a very new thing for me, and I feel like this is probably the most, it's different. It's not like any other event that I've ran, so, and again, I don't want to be, like, hounding people for a donation, so I've kind of let people just come to me, and if they want to donate, and I have different options, like sponsorship, opportunities, but I'm not, like, pressing anybody. I'm kind of, like, letting it go, and I think that I'll, know for the future how, like, next year, obviously, I'll clean up the things that I think I could do better on. But yeah, we have that coming up. There's a few more spots left. I started advertising probably about maybe a month and a half ago, something like that, just because I like to have a good idea. I don't want to feel like I need to fill the spots right before. So we have a couple more foursomes available. So I'm excited. I've never ran a golf outing, so it should be
golf outing will
interesting.
grow organically. Like next year will be your second annual, and
Yeah.
then it'll go.
Right.
People will miss it. People will have seen all the posts that you made and how much fun it looked, and people will know other people that did it, and it'll grow organically. Something
Step
like
back
that.
surf contest.
Step back surf contest.
I
You're in
think the
charge.
surfing community is so cool.
Kevin will show up
and
as
I
the
would
Easter
love-
Bunny to
yeah.
that too. You never know. And that's how it goes. That's how it grows naturally, and that's kind of the beauty of it. And certain things you're going to be like, no, that's not aligned with us. And learning to say no is part of it all.
Yeah, it's
That's
your-
one
it's
thing
your
I've
brand.
tried to like. I need.
You
to
can't
be
say
better
yes to
at
everything. Like,
is-
Yeah.
It's like, I think that
It's just not for us.
Yeah, there's certain things where, you kind of just have to say this isn't really aligning.
Not, aligned with you. It's not that you're, turning somebody away, but no, thank you.
I was just kidding.
But it's about, surfing is absolutely would be aligned. I mean, I'm on the beach like every day. I'm over there, so that would be great. Not that I'm a surfer, but that would be an awesome.
I'll have to circle back on that one.
Yeah, we'll circle back.
So if people do want to find you or reach you or donate, this is where you get to plug yourself, because I know you said you don't reach for donate or look for donations, but we're gonna have it clipped in and linked in here through all the outlets that we have this on. So if they want to follow you on social media.
Okay, our Instagram is just at the Setback Foundation.
Okay.
Facebook page, same thing, at the Setback Foundation. Our website is thesetbackfoundation.com, and I update that like all the time. But on there has our email, which is thesetbackfoundation@gmail.com. So everything is like on
consistent.
there. Yeah, I try to keep it simple, because I think about if I was however old from various different ages, and I wanted to find us, what would I do? And I try to make it so simple.
Consistent with the branding, which is important.
That's the most important part.
For sure.
If someone was however old, how would they find me? So that's what it is. Yeah, just the Setback Foundation, basically, for everything.
You made one point early, and I know that we're wrapping it up here, but I wanted to point it out. I kind of couldn't get it in there. The community is crazy with the amount of support that they show for all these different organizations, right? Like there's people that support everything, and I think that is a unique thing about this community. Anybody that is involved with a nonprofit says that. It just is mind-boggling how much support people show. And then you talked about the area, and people were very prideful of the schools they went to, whether they went to Lower, Middle, or Wildwood Catholic Tech, Ocean City, whatever it is in the county, but very locally, they're very proud of their schools, right? But at the same time, I have seen over years that for the most part, most people are rooting for the youth, regardless of what school they went to, and I think that is something that everybody should be really proud about, because you have these deep allegiances to your school,
right.
But yet if one of the other local schools is doing well in something, the community supports that, and you go to a game and there's people from all these different schools, and I think it's awesome that as much pride that you have for your own school, and as much of that competitive fire maybe that you had if you were an athlete against those other schools, as you get older, you're just rooting for the greater community,
right?
And
no, you're so right.
And on the Cape, the greater community is basically the Cape. It's we're kind of isolated, and everybody kind of roots for each other, and I think that's such an extension of
the beauty of small town living, small area living.
I think it also helps too is the different travel teams that are the Sharks, for example, or the Islanders for the middle school teams that no matter what school you go to on the island, you play on that team. If you're playing, I guess, travel, and those girls or guys become really close with the kids that they might not have known or met until they got to high school, and they might not have gone to the same high school. So I think that also helps too, is creating those friendships and relationships at a younger age. And then when they get into high school, it's fun when you play against each other. I mean, I've unfortunately was part of the gap. I did play Catholic a couple times, but I didn't play them every year. But when I did, I played against some of my friends, and we were we played in middle school together.
You're competing, but you're also laughing.
Yeah, we're
at each
laughing,
other,
and we still laugh.
Other,
Catholic beat us when I was a freshman, and Caitlin McMullen, who's one of my best friends, and she's the same age or grade as my older sister. She still makes fun of Mac all the time for it, but we're best friends, so it's cool to see that. And actually, her stepmom and dad just created a nonprofit, McTurner Foundation. I don't know if you've seen that, but there's a lot of just like you said, there's so many people who just want to support and who are from this area and that want they want the kids to do well. But that's what it should be. It should be all about who cares if I didn't go to Crestmore? I'm going to go in there and I'm going to be really happy and excited to be there, or whatever it is. And I think that's so special. And I also think it's special that people from out of town who come in and they want to support too, because they're And I think that's one thing, and I'll wrap it up too, is I think that because I'm younger, I do, and I have I've worked at Keenan's or whatever, and I've met a lot of people who are not from this area, and I think that I love that they see they have a glimpse of what's going on here, because I remember when I first started working, people were and they still say, people from Philly still say this too, they'll be there's who lives here, who lives here, and I'm like, but now I love that they get to see and they support. I mean, I have so many friends from Philly. I just got a girl on my way here who sent me a donation for the event. They actually own a yoga studio. Right, besides the point, but there's so many people who just want to support, and I love that. I kind of have a smaller reach. Obviously, Philly's massive community, but a reach of people who kind of get an idea of what this community is all about, and I think that they respect it even more, and they want to be down here even more because of it. So
I think I think having the storefront is great, because it's that's something that is very island specific, and people are I know the person that at Step Back Foundation. I support Step Back Foundation. They're wearing their sweatshirt up in the city, and they know that. And they come into town, where you're positioned is perfect. They can stop in, and you're promoting your products and stuff like that. I think that's kind of cool, and it must be a thrill for you to see people walking around with Step Back Foundation stuff on.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I used to get kind of excited.
I think you purposefully wore that today,
right? But my little sister, she'll be funny though. She'll be like, well, they're not even wearing me because of you anymore. So, don't even, I'm not excited about it. I'm just let me live.
But they are.
Keeping you humble. They are.
No, she keeps me humble. I'm okay, thanks.
Yeah. That's good stuff.
Yeah.
That's good. But no, it is because of you. You started it, right? It wouldn't be if it wasn't. So,
I do. What means the most to me is when I see a younger kid wearing it. I love that. I love that because, they think that, if they think that I'm being impactful to them, I'm telling you they're 10 times more impactful to me, because I don't know, even a girl messaged me yesterday and she sent me such a nice thing. It made my day. I was having a rough day and I was like, that was so sweet. You made my day. And that's what it's all about. I think as much of it as it is of, me trying to enhance the lives of others, I'm winning the most out of this. And I know that, and I've acknowledged that for a long time, because I've seen just how much my life has improved in the past 6 years, and how much more gratitude I have, and my relationships with people are better, because I'm just that much more appreciative, because I see how much love's out there in the world, that I'm how could I not be more fulfilled from everything that this community has given me and shown me.
Which is good.
That's a great sign off.
Beautiful sign off.
Well, thanks for coming.
Yeah,
thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, and
I knew I would have fun.
I'm sure we'll be able to collaborate in some capacity moving forward.
Yeah, definitely.
Maybe we'll get the surf contest rocking and rolling.
Zach's going to sign up for his first ever surf contest.
I'm even wearing a life jacket first. Make sure you get the lifeguards on duty. All right, well, thanks, Maddie.
Thanks for joining us, Maddie.
Thank you.